Hi, everybody. Welcome to this version of LinkedIn Live. My name is Bryan Forrester. I am the co-founder and CEO of Boostlingo. Very excited to be joined today by our VP of Engineering and former co-founder of Interpreter Intelligence, Conor Power, who I've known for a long time prior to Boostlingo and II joining forces. How are you doing today, Conor?
Good. You just stole my thunder. I was going to introduce myself.
You just did sorry about that. Sorry about that. Well, I'm sure you have more to add. So maybe anything else you want to tell the audience about yourself?
I don't know. Yeah, well, Conor Power is my name now, the VP of Engineering here at Boostlingo. Very excited to be there. And previously the founder of Interpreter Intelligence for many years. So very excited to be here. And I'm sure hopefully there's a lot of current customers, perhaps the future prospects looking at us today. Happy to share this with you guys.
Yeah, well, it's exciting, right? I mean, I think this was marketed as a LinkedIn Live to celebrate the first year of Boostlingo and II joining forces. But in fact, I think looking at the calendar, it's almost been, 18 months, a year and a half since the two of us came together. So I think it's fair to say that you welcome to the roller coaster ride, Conor, that of which is Boostlingo.
I think we cut our hook at the right time. It's been a really exciting journey, and much appreciation, much thanks to you for taking that risk at the time. Before we jump in, I do want to congratulate you, myself, and the wider team for making the Inc. 5000 list. Not just 1 year, which was last year, the first year that we joined, but 2 years in a row now. Maybe you can share a couple of thoughts about that before we dive in.
Yeah, that just hit the presses yesterday. It's quite an accomplishment for our company and our team. I like to call it the Inc. 1000, not the Inc. 5000, because we were in the top 1000 for 2 years in a row, which I think puts our company in a rare company. And we owe a lot of that to our very loyal customer base, and of course our incredible team and their unwavering dedication and hard work. It's an amazing accomplishment, and it's not easy to break into the Inc. 5000, yet alone to be in that top 1,000 tier. So just big news to hit the presses, and we're going to shoot for 3 in a row next year.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you can imagine from our perspective, and I'm sure Boost Events as well, to have joined a company like Boostlingo and then within 6 months to have made that achievement as an organization is really exciting for us to see as new entrants. So kudos to you and the wider team. Very excited to be part of it.
Well, thanks, Conor. Really appreciate it. I was kind of just thinking about the last year and a half since we joined forces, and curious, just you probably had expectations going in, as we talked about all the synergies and why this acquisition makes sense for us to join forces. But I guess I have to ask you, how are you feeling, number one, at this point about everything? Has there been anything unexpected that you've learned along the way? And I guess, what is it like being part of a larger team and being inside of a bigger company now?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think overall it's been fantastic. I don't think I could have picked a better opportunity. Outside of Interpreter Intelligence, anytime in my career, I think this has been sort of perhaps once in a lifetime for me, and I hope most people in the organization feel the same. And I think when I reflect on the initial hypothesis why I wanted to join forces with Boostlingo back in the day, there was 3 main driving forces. One was where's the best place for the product Interpreter Intelligence? And I think we spoke about early on that II is really known as sort of best in breed enterprise class on-site scheduling. Now, we have delved a lot into the on-demand side of things pre-pandemic and then during the pandemic, but we were investing a lot of time in that. Yet our forte was on the on-site scheduling. And of course, Boostlingo, having a very solid Boost IMS product as well, but best known for its on-demand product, really taking the best of what Interpreter Intelligence has with the best of Boostlingo, putting them together, I think is unmatched on the market. And I think that has been borne out in some of the sales we made throughout the year. So very excited about that. I think the second big motivation factor for me was the team and the customers. Of course, I think Interpreter Intelligence is very much a customer-centric company, has been since its inception. And I think from the first day that I met you, we shook hands and we chatted, I could sense the same level of integrity, professionalism, customer-centric focus. So I think and that's been borne out as well. And also for the team, Interpreter Intelligence at its peak was 15 people. got a little bit smaller during the pandemic. But again, from a cultural perspective and a fit perspective, there's no better place for the team to be and to continue to grow. And I think, that's proven by the fact that there's been no turnover in the team. And in fact, the team has grown. I think we're now +7 people on the II side of things specifically. We could probably talk a bit about that a bit later. So very exciting from a team perspective and also a customer perspective. And then finally, for me personally, I think what's telling is I just got back from vacation, took 2 weeks off in Greece. I'm now based in London for anybody.
Well deserved, by the way, well deserved.
So I did bring my laptop, but I think a telling story or anecdotal story is that we went away for a long weekend back in March, and I joked with my wife that I was not bringing my laptop for the first time ever, and I didn't bring it. I think I know my laptop better than my kids. Anyway, long story short, my own personal motivation has been to do something different. Running a small company has challenges. It's a big commitment. I think you took me up on the opportunity to join Boostlingo and allow me to focus on sort of my passions, my true passions, which go beyond building a company as being part of a bigger organization, being able to focus on product and technology, which is really where my career started. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate the opportunity, which is really bearing fruit. So I'm a lot less stressed out, a lot more focused on really what I care about. I'm very excited for the future.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I share your background in being part of a very small company, right? Boostlingo started out with just a few people in a closet, and you don't get to take very many vacations in those early years. So I'm glad that you're able to turn off your laptop from time to time. That's great to hear. And I think, of course, we had high expectations going in, joining forces. We already knew that interpreter intelligence was sort of the best in breed management solution for LSPs to scale their interpreting business on, specifically for on-site interpreting, as you mentioned. I'd love to share, if there's anything that you could share along let's just take the last 18 months since we joined forces. Are there any particular milestones that stand out in your head or any aha moments where you're like, oh, this is coming together? Maybe if you have a customer story or two that you could share.
Yeah, sure. I think when it comes to milestones, what we first focused on immediately after the acquisition, we had a comparable or competing, albeit not as full featured, what we call it the Partner Connect network. One of the first things we did post acquisition was to actually integrate with the BPIN. So of course the BPIN is the Boostlingo Professional Interpreter Network, best in breed, 24/7 on demand, languages in over 200 languages. And I think that was the biggest milestone we did early out. We've since then been incrementally adding to that. So we have a phase 2, which happened probably towards the end of last year, added a bunch more features, and now we're working on releasing a phase 3. So we're in this sort of lockstep mode of improving the on-demand capabilities within Interpreter Intelligence to offer those capabilities to our customers. The other big milestone I think we've achieved in this time has been the release of our native mobile app. So for both iOS and Android, we now have full on-site capabilities available in native apps. We plan to deprecate our web-based mobile app, which we were using before. And it's very exciting to see that better usability. It's where the product needs to be at, and very excited for the future development of that. I think the third big area that we've focused on has been in terms of a new architecture. So this may be lost on some of the less technical people in the audience, but we've all heard about the chip shortages in recent years, but we've taken the opportunity over the last, I think, 9 months to upgrade or migrate away from these Intel-based chipsets to these ARM-based chipsets. Now, that sounds like a minor task, but there's a lot of work involved in upgrading a lot of the frameworks that we use on the engineering side to make that a reality. And there's some pretty big performance gains that we've gotten out of that, plus some price improvements. So there are 3 of the big milestones. The other big one actually that comes to mind is, as you know, Boostlingo is moving as an organization towards SOC 2 compliance and ISO 27001. Interpreter Intelligence is part of that. So we've had a lot of security enhancements that have come out of the audits that we've done organizationally. So very excited to see that. And these are a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that people may not be readily exposed to, but are very important in terms of our future growth in the enterprise space. And then I think there's some other than the product milestones, what I've seen post-acquisition, which has been very sort of exciting and eye-opening, has been, first off, the growth in Interpreter Intelligence. So prior to the acquisition, we'd grown organically over many years. I think our average growth was about 35 to 40%. Post-acquisition, we saw that do a significant uptick. And I think right now we're on about 70% growth year over year. I believe we've doubled in size since the acquisition, which is very exciting. And I think what that comes down to is having the right people in the right seats. So we now have a dedicated sales team. The executive team on the sales side is really impressive. Well, everybody's very impressive, but on the sales side, my first time really being exposed to like someone like the likes of Mary Wallace and Christy Sieber, who really have a process and a sales engine down. And then having people focused on selling II has been really valuable. We had a great sales guy during II. I was very involved in the sales process. Much more now, it's been more hands-off for me and just sort of it's on its own selling itself. So very excited to see that. From a team growth perspective, it's been very exciting as well. I think post-acquisition, immediately we had a couple of guys working with us part-time. We were able to bring those guys on full-time with the investment that Boostlingo made. I think since the acquisition now, we have an initial 7 people hired, 1 in customer success, 1 in support, 4 devs. I'm probably missing a couple here. 1 product manager.
Product manager, yeah.
That's been a big load off my plate as well. So the investment that Boost have made in the product, it's great to see. And you can see as things start to free up. So people, rather than having to do everything at the same time, you have people focused on their skill sets, being able to deliver high quality work in that area, and then it frees other people up to focus on what they're great at. And I think we're starting to see the benefits of that now. And I'm excited for the future as that continues.
Yeah, it's always a result, right? As you scale, people, there's less context switching. People get to really focus on the domains that they want to focus on. And that ends up being more efficient and producing better results. And like you mentioned, 70% growth year over year even exceeded my expectations for the business. And it's not just the 50% more customers that you have now than you had 18 months ago. It just shows that the LSPs that are using II today are growing as well. Their adoption of the product, the customers that use the product. And you have to believe that a lot of that growth, we hear it from our customers, a lot of that growth is because of the efficiency that II in and of itself drives, how it empowers our partners to really scale their business and do more with less. And I think so a lot of these investments we've made, and big kudos to your team, not just you, but of course people like Elena and Julie on support, and our entire investments on the dev side for the II team have really it's been fantastic to just watch your team grow.
I think to add to that, I mean, there's 2 other aspects to that as well. We've had a very beneficial internship program over the years with Interpreter Intelligence, and Boostlingo has been a support of that as we've continued. We've had great success with that. And also I've been very excited to see the team cross-pollinate as well. So with some of the work we're doing in the UI, we're now getting the Interpreter Intelligence developers to be more available to work on the Boostlingo side and vice versa, which I think for me as an engineering leader is an exciting opportunity for that cross-pollination. It just makes things more solidified. And it's just an investment in the future for all of us, I think,
Yeah, and as you know, Boostlingo is committed to continuing to invest in II. Of course, with growth comes more investments. We want more of that 70% year over year growth, and so I think we're already planning to add 6 to 7 headcount in just the next 9 to 12 months onto the II team. But like you said, a lot of them are now starting to work cross functionally, which is great to see. I mean, I think you and I have talked about how it's been great to see the line of sight into these products coming together, sort of having a unified platform where you get the best of both worlds of both products, which is great. I mean, how else have you seen these investments help you scale other than just the human resources aspect of it? Are you, just seeing people, I guess, operate, more efficiently, or getting more excited about the work that they're doing?
Well, I think we're more readily able to react to customers' needs. I think with that additional headcount, additional resources, and the right people doing the right jobs, we get a request in from our customer, or we have an issue we need to deal with. It comes into customer success, might go to product, it gets fully vetted, and then it goes to development. So that's like, it may slow things down a little bit, but you get a much better and higher quality product at the end of it. And I think we're starting to see the fruits of that as well. I think we sort of lived by the seat of our pants for many years as a small company. And now we're sort of taking more measured approaches. We have the right people doing the right work, and things are being thought through more fully up front, and I think that leads to a better product, more innovation, and sets us up for success in the future because we've done the right things early on, so that we're not sort of tripping over ourselves long further down the road. I think another thing that I'm very excited about is all of the work that we're now doing in AI. And when I say we, I mean we as a company. So there's a part of Boostlingo now working, developing some products around AI. Very excited to see how that will trickle down into interpreter intelligence. There's no immediate use case for it right now, but I think the market is awash talking about AI. It will have an impact on all our work, and it'll be interesting to see how that makes it back into interpreter intelligence.
Yeah, that's right. And you're letting the cat out of the bag a little bit with this AI, because we do have a lot of exciting announcements coming down the road as it relates to that topic. But we're also very committed to figuring out how our LSPs and our partners can leverage AI to actually not just enhance business workflows, but make better business decisions. And I can see a lot of applications in AI. We've talked a lot about that in the background. Now, I also just want to take a pause here, because we do have the ability for people that are listening live to ask questions as Conor and I continue the conversation. One question comes in is, where will there be a unified platform? Conor, I'm happy to field that, or maybe I should let you take a stab at it.
No, I think you sort of alluded to it in your previous question. So one of the things that I'm now starting to dedicate more time towards is some of these bigger ticket items. And, before I answer the unified platform question, one of those initial things is, so right now with the BPing connector, we're sort of going in lockstep. So as there are more features added to the Boostlingo core, as we call it, we're sort of playing catch up constantly with the features we need to add to AI. And we're still not even feature party complete at the moment. I think one of the immediate goals is to basically strip out all of the work that AI has done in the on-demand capabilities and replace that entirely with Boostlingo. Right, because right now we have staff and we have developers who basically have to maintain the AI infrastructure for on-demand services, and of course we have the best of breed on the Boostlingo side. We want to avoid that sort of duplicity of work and strip that out. So that's one of the things that is on my radar. Second to that, then, or I should say, in parallel with that, is this concept of this more unified platform, and the initial steps in that would be this UI upgrade we're working on right now. So that's sort of the underpinning between the two systems, having a similar look and feel, similar behavior, similar usability. Of course, there's always going to be a difference in features and functionality between the two, and they'll have their separate sort of nuances there. But in terms of you using the system, they'll look visually the same, they'll behave similar type of usability. And also we want to support some type of single sign-on capability. So we don't have a timeline exactly for that unified part of it. The UI upgrade is in process right now. Again, it's most likely at the end of the year, Q1, Q2 next year, before it's fully complete. And then finally, the other big thing we're looking forward towards from an engineering organization is we have got great talent within the company as an engineering organization. And I think in terms of hiring great talent, retaining great talent, we want to be using the best of breed technologies to make our life as easy as possible when it comes to how we build software, how we release software, and how we make it scalable, and how we do that in an agile fashion. So I'm very excited about the work we're doing from a next generation architecture perspective in II, Boostlingo, and also Boost Events, to bring them all three together to make it a very sort of seamless process for us to be innovative, to be ambitious in what we want to do, and to be able to scale the platform. So I didn't give away any timelines there, of course. But I'll leave that to you, Bryan, if you want to share some thoughts there.
Well, yeah, I think that, like you said, there's a lot of moving parts to building that experience. Of course, II and Boostlingo do a lot of great things, and trying to combine the best of both worlds is not a simple task. And of course, it starts with that user experience, the UX, the UI, and Boostlingo, like II, is upgrading our front end framework, but we're hoping that it's going to start looking and feeling like a unified platform for our customers by the middle of next year. Again, don't want to give out any specific dates. Things can get pushed up, pushed back, as we all know, but we're working hard. It's one of sort of the 5 major areas that we're focused on next year for the business, and so it's exciting.
And I think the ultimate goal is if you're a dual customer of Interpreter Intelligence and Boostlingo, you really can interact. You can interplay between both systems seamlessly. That's the ultimate goal, and that's the goal we're working towards right now. Again, there's a lot to figure out, both at the engineering perspective and also from a functional perspective, how that's going to actually happen. But the wheels are in motion for that.
That's great.
You mentioned some customer success stories as well. I think it's worth, we have I think both Boostlingo and Interpreter Intelligence has been very fortunate with some of the customers we've worked with over the years. I can certainly say from my perspective, some of the customers we've worked with have been instrumental in our success. So to name a few, MCIS in Canada as a social enterprise, one of the probably one of the largest interpreting agencies in Canada, doing some great work up there. They've been a great supporter of Interpreter Intelligence over the years. They're now a dual customer of both Interpreter Intelligence and Boostlingo. They're very much pushing us along in terms of what we're doing with the product from an on-site perspective and also from an on-demand perspective. We can't ask for a better customer than MCIS. Another great example would be Language Network. So Jordan from Language Network, he's on this acquisition spree, a big supporter of the company. Again, he's looking at Interpreter Intelligence as a platform for him to consolidate all his acquisitions into a single platform, the real enterprise solution for, I'm not quite sure what his future plans are, but he's thinking as a bigger organization, as a bigger entity, and perhaps some type of future exit. Another exciting one that comes to mind is, of course, PGLS with Mohammed Hussein on the East Coast. Again, he's been a long-time Boost customer from what I believe. He's now an II customer from a number of acquisitions that they've made. And again, they're looking at II from an enterprise perspective. Where can they get the single hub, central hub, to consolidate all of these acquisitions from an on-site perspective into one best-of-breed solution? So very excited to share those names with you guys, and also because they're exciting companies to work with. They push us, and they really, you couldn't ask for better partnerships than those guys.
Yeah, it's great. And it goes back to, as these companies scale, they need things like SOC 2 compliance, security compliance scale. And that's really where all these infrastructure upgrades come into play, right? Also, just doubling down on our R&D investments has been a big part of the last year for Boostlingo. As you grow, you have the luxury to invest more of the bottom line back into the business. And we certainly are doing that both in the Boostlingo core product and in II. So just to take a shift here, Conor, you've talked a little bit about the experience over the last 18 months, some of the milestones. What can you tease our audience with around features? Let's talk about specific features. Is there anything around the corner that you're ready to reveal? And I hate to put you on the spot, but is there anything around the corner that maybe you want to tell our team about they should get excited about, our customers?
Well, I think I will reiterate this UI upgrade. It's no secret that Interpreter Intelligence has been in need of a UI upgrade for a number of years. And again, always been at the cliff face, sort of working, as we've been commanded. This really is the first opportunity. In the last 6 months has been the first opportunity we've had to spend the necessary time and dedicate the time to actually making that a reality. It's also been decided from an organization perspective that we will sort of jump ahead in terms of what it will look like. So we're not just going to replicate the way Boostlingo looks right now. We're sort of like going to push the envelope a little bit. And then within a certain period of time, both products will look similar. So I'm very excited about that. I think it's long overdue from a customer's perspective. And it's one of my key KPIs through the end of the year that I'll be working on. So that's probably the big thing. I mean, there's so many features the team is working on. Again, with the arrival of the new product manager and Adam Fung, there's just a litany of things that are ongoing. I mean, some of them small, some of them big, a lot of third-party integrations we're working on, a lot of necessary work on the security side. There's no big features that stand out except for that UI upgrade that we'd be focused on as a team through end of the year.
That's great. And I mean, we've just been really excited to see all the progress. I've been putting you on the hot seat here, asking you questions.
Yeah.
As you kind of reflect back on the last year and a half, I'm just curious, any questions for me?
Yes, I do. Well, I think one of the things, and we've already haven't had an opportunity to speak about this recently, but it's been very exciting to see Boostlingo. I mean, I knew you guys as a smaller company back in 2016 and 17. We had some good times together, but now we're a 140-person organization. But there's a fantastic culture within the company, and you feel it, even though we're a remote company. You feel that culture, and people. It does seem like people live by that culture. So, what's it been like for you to grow? From a small company to now being the CEO of a 140-person company with a fantastic culture?
Well, I mean, I'm just so grateful to be surrounded by great people. I think just like you, I've actually recently had a vacation where I was able to unplug from my computer a bit, which was nice, and something that you couldn't do in the first 5 years of Boostlingo. But look, it all starts with the culture. It all starts with, not just talking about core values, but actually living your core values and having a very mission-driven company. And so how do you live by your core values? How do you experience core values versus just talking about them? Well, you have to integrate it into the processes from hiring, asking the right questions when you're hiring people, making sure that it's integrated into your onboarding process, but also building, reinforcing that over time. So we have extracurricular things that our employees can get involved in, like our culture club, right? Where our employees can plan employee engagement initiatives, or our DEIB committee. Our leadership team and our employee base is really passionate about having a diverse and equitable workforce, where people can really show up to work as their authentic self. So we've had tremendous attendance in some of these extracurricular committees and clubs like DEIB and Culture Club, and there's many others I could mention here. So it all starts with having a great culture, but I also have to say it also starts with leadership, right? Boostlingo took investment capital back in 2021 from Mainsail Partners, been a great partner for the business, but that additional cash on our balance sheet, of course, has allowed us to hire faster and hire really high quality leaders, which in turn, turns out good leaders also hire really good people. And so we have a really strong team that, is dedicated to our mission and the products we're delivering. And I think it's made my life easier. One of my biggest lessons is that, as you scale, you don't have to do some of the things you used to do. And Conor, I know you've experienced this as well, right? It's just that moment of relief where you're like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. I was wearing 20 hats and now I'm wearing 18, and now I'm wearing 16. Occasionally you have to go back to the hat rack and pick up a hat that you used to wear, just to go back in and make sure everything's going smoothly. But we have really strong leadership. We have extremely passionate employees. And for that, I think, that all leads to growth. That all leads to success. So it's been awesome to see.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's very commendable. So congrats to you. It's been really impressive for me to be sitting where I sit and see it growing in that way, and to see the company mature. I mean, as I say, we were 15 people at our height, very close, tight-knit team. Now at 140 people, it's a similar type of culture, similar type of integrity, similar type of ethics. And I think it really comes down from a top-down perspective. So congrats to you, and long may it continue.
You too. Congrats on all the success for II's growth over the past year. And I'm really excited to see what the future holds. But I think we're just getting started.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, thanks. I've been excited to join this LinkedIn Live with you. And if there's other questions that come up, we will be happy to answer them after the call. We will make sure we get back to anybody who asked a question that we didn't get to. But thanks everybody for
Thank you, Bryan.
logging in. Appreciate it.
See you all.
See y'all.